military. He, like Colonel Fuse, has been a member since earlier this year. This is his third speech. If you don't say it, I will. He's big brother to 5. David Kennedy.
Toastmasters and guests, and thank you very much for that kind introduction to our Toastmaster of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to speak about this morning is mental health and mental wealth and how they relate to one another. And so I had to do a little bit of research for this topic, and we all hear a little bit about mental health here and there when it comes to something tragic happening online, or usually to a celebrity who's done something and they blame it on mental health. So what I'd like to talk about today is really what it is and how we can kind of exchange mental currency with one another to help us be a better world overall. So while doing some research for this speech, I went to a website, the National Institute for Mental Health. And I was informed that 1 out of every 5 people will have a mental health event once in their lifetime. And individuals who are 0 to 18 years old, about 24% of them will go through something traumatic while growing up in their life. And when I was giving this speech, I thought about our president, Mr. Brad, who ironically enough is evaluating me today. So when I joined Toastmasters, Brad, he had a cast on his leg. I believe he was walking with a cane. And so by looking at Brad at that time, you could see he had a physical injury, and people would walk up to him and ask him, was he okay? How's everything going with his recovery? How's physical therapy going? Because he had an injury that you can obviously see. And when the cast was off one day, people said, Brad, your cast is off. How you doing? And you can tell Brad was excited to be walking without the cast and things like that. But there's many of us in this room today who they may have injuries that you cannot see, and they may be dealing with things that you can't see as well, and that's our mental health. And one thing that really, really attracted me to this group in my first meeting is the number of veterans that we have in the group, Bradford included, and Jim as well, and we have a few others. There's many veterans all around the world who deal with those mental health issues in the military as well as coming back. But before they became a veteran, we were still civilians first. And so I thought about something when I was having a bad day, ironically enough, just yesterday. So I gave my icebreaker speech a couple weeks ago, and I informed the group that I was severely injured in Iraq. And I deal with a lot of things on a day-to-day basis that affects my mental health. And I think about my mental health and how it relates to wealth, and how we have a currency in our head of mental health. So if somebody's having a bad day, they may be mentally overdrawn. They've given everything to so many other people. They may have their mothers, their bosses, they may have a project that they're working on, and it's just dollars, mental dollars going from the brain every single day. And so I like to do just a little activity to see how, or to let everyone know how we can kind of replenish our mental bank. So if you just turn to your neighbor, give them a smile and say, how are you doing today?
How are you?
Thanks, Brad.
How are you?
And doesn't it feel good to receive that? Yeah. It's kind of hard to say, how are you doing? Leave me alone. Even though we're going through something and we're just overdrawn mentally from the kids, from jobs, from traffic, from preparing a Toastmasters speech. Someone's always taken away from our bank of mental health, our currency. And as a veteran, I'm overdrawn all the time. Always in pain every single day from the injuries that I had in Iraq. But when someone looks at me and says, well, hey, David, how you doing? It's hard for me not to receive that, and what they're doing at that time is refilling my bank, giving me those mental health dollars so I can go on along and exchange that currency with somebody else and pay it forward. We have a couple people in this group who I call Mental Health Millionaires. One of them is Sandy, and then Janice is another. Janice always has a smile on her face, always very positive and always giving her mental health dollars to someone else because she's a mental health millionaire. And for someone like me who's overdrawn on a daily basis, I may want to find a mental health millionaire such as Janice so I can receive some of those dollars and replenish my bank so I can exchange my dollars with someone else. And one thing about being a mental health millionaire, there's no currency exchange rate, no foreign exchange rate. Everyone can receive these dollars. And sometimes, if you want to hold on to your dollars, you can. If I say, hey, how you doing? That was just an exchange right there. She filled my bank, I filled hers. Now I may go along and exchange my dollars to someone else who may want to hold on to theirs. They may not want to say exactly what's going on. But later on throughout the week, I replenish their bank and they may want to go along and exchange that with someone else. So doing research for this speech, I spoke with a veteran specialist at Highland Rivers Hospital. Well, not Highland Rivers Hospital, it's Highland Rivers, it's a group in Canton, Georgia that helps veterans and other people dealing with mental health. And his name is Richard Twist. And I asked him what was the difference between veteran mental health and civilian mental health. And he explained, going through military training provides an extra layer to that culture for the service member. In some cases, an additional or even replacement lens in which to view the world is formed. Extreme environments that require the sacrifice of one's morals and or group cohesion for survival, such as prison and the military, instill a subculture phenomenon which persists to some extent even after the person has been removed from the environment. So with that being said, being a veteran and going through all of that and trying to settle back into civilian life can be a very arduous task. Sometimes there's things that we deal with in the military that we can just deal with in a certain way. There's a subculture to the military that we don't have in the civilian world. And there's certain ways to deal with things that we can't deal with in the civilian world. But you take those mental health dollars that you have, associate yourself with a mental health millionaire, such as Janice. So everybody make sure you get some dollars from Janice before you leave today. And what we can do when we take these dollars and exchange as foreign currencies, make ourselves